Welcome back. I'm your host, Renata, a creativity coach for neurodivergent and multi-passionate women of color. And in this show, we talk about all things creativity as it relates to our self-discovery and healing. In today's show, I want to share with you 5 books that helped me in my own self-discovery and healing journey. And I wanted to create this episode because I know that for a lot of us, coaching or even therapy might be out of our reach. It might not be accessible, but we still want to make progress in our lives. We still want to take care of ourselves. We want to feel better. And I think books are a wonderful resource to do this. And my list is going to have a little bit of everything. There's healing, there's personal growth, and creativity, of course. So there's going to be a little bit of everything. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll be sharing the books. If you're listening on the podcast, you can always come back on YouTube and watch this. But I'll also be linking all the books in the show's description for you to enjoy. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first book that I have on my list is Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents by Lindsay Gibson. And I have seen this book make its rounds on the internet. And I think it's become really popular. And I think that's for good reason, because I myself think this is one of the best books out there. And the reason for that is because this book has such good materials inside. Not only are you going to learn about how to take care of your emotional well-being and set boundaries with difficult parents. They might not necessarily be narcissistic, but just even emotionally immature parents. This book does a freaking wonderful job of giving you scripts that you can use to set boundaries and to make sure that you are getting your needs met. One of the other things that I remember I really enjoyed about this book was towards the end, there's a Bill of Rights for adult children of emotionally immature parents. And that Bill of Rights is so affirming, very comforting. It gives you a sense of power back. And I think this book is an easy read. And yeah, just the author has done a fantastic job of giving examples of what other people have struggled with. So I can't recommend this book enough. I think it's straight to the point, and I love books that are efficient and like don't waste your time and just give you what you need. So check it out if this is something that you're needing right now. The second book that I have on my list is Think Indigenous by Doe Good Feather. I think I'm saying the name correctly. It looks like this. And this book was life changing for me. If you are on a journey of decolonizing your knowledge, decolonizing your mind, this book is a must because it really lays down the foundations for how to look at the world through an Indigenous lens. The author is Lakota, and so a lot of the concepts are coming from that tradition. And when I picked up this book, I did not expect what I found inside. But when I saw the book, it really grabbed my attention because I am on a journey to learning from Indigenous thought leaders, and I knew this book was gonna do it. And I wasn't wrong. It was so life changing that I think it really helped me to shift the way that I kind of walk through life, the way that I understand nature, things like that. There's just so many powerful concepts that this author talks about. And this is something that anybody can read. You don't have to be Indigenous to read it. He goes over those things in the book, but this is a book for everyone. Basically, how can we take some of these ideas and start to apply them in our own lives, regardless of your background, your ethnicity, whatever. I also think this is a book that you're probably going to be coming back to over and over if you really enjoy it. I know I did. And this is a book that I refer to for inspiration and for guidance. And for example, one of the things that really stuck with me since I read it is this idea of how everything that you want to know about life, you can learn through observing nature. That in itself blew my mind because I was like, wait, what? How? I was so disconnected from nature that this book really brought that idea home. So if this is something that is also piquing your interest, I cannot recommend this enough. And I'm going to say that about every book that I'm recommending to you here because I'm only bringing the best. I'm only bringing the best for you. And These are books that are going to capture your attention right away and I think are going to be life changing. They were for me, so I'm hoping they're going to be like that for you too. The third book on my list is Reindeer Seeker of Visions by John Fire Reindeer and Richard Erdoes. And this book was also life changing, also by a Lakota leader and medicine man. And this is such a beautiful book because of the storytelling. From beginning to end, you get stories that not only are entertaining, funny, but also make you think and question your understanding of life. This is also a powerful book if you are on a decolonial journey. I think the way that this writer is able, well, not writer, but this medicine man, because he actually explains he didn't really write the book directly, he just told the stories. And this guy Richard Erdoes was the one that wrote them into a book to be able to publish it. But each story is so powerful because it really challenges a lot of notions that we have about modern life and how we think life needs to be. But he is a wonderful reminder of living our life more intuitively, more in alignment with nature and what that could look like, and how he was able to understand a lot of those things. I can't say enough about this book. I think this is just one of those books you're going to have to trust me on and read because it's so powerful. I'm having a hard time really putting together a cohesive sentence to describe this book accurately. But what I do want to say is that this book is a powerful guide and inspiration if you want to start living more authentically and more intuitively. Check it out. It's definitely going to be a book you're going to be coming back to over and over for inspiration. The next book on my list is The Creative License by Danny Gregory. In this book, I read when I was 15 years old. I was still in high school. I was trying to figure myself out as an artist, as a creative person. And I think it couldn't have come at a better time. And it has been so influential in both my art and my approach as a creativity coach and just as a person in general. And I can't recommend this book enough. As the title suggests, this is a book all about giving yourself permission to be the artist that you truly are. I recommend this book for anybody who is struggling to call themselves creative or artistic because this book walks you through what creativity is all about, the approach, the mindset that we have to have in order to let ourselves create. The book itself is inspiring because there's so many illustrations. This author didn't use typography. He actually wrote everything by hand. That in itself is like hella inspiring. And I had never seen anything like it. I think this is one of those books that you're gonna be coming back to as well over and over because there's so many great lessons and it's just inspirational in general. I'm not gonna lie, I have not read that book since I first read it back in like 2005, I think, because it's one of those books that once you read it, you just have to freaking go out there and do the thing. It's one of those books that is constantly telling you, like, stop thinking about things and just go out there and do it. Like, go for it. And it's sort of the same vibe that I took from punk rock. I think I've talked about this in other places, but this feeling of empowerment, this feeling of do not take things so seriously, just pick up the freaking guitar and start playing music, pick up your pencil and start drawing. And that's essentially, to me, what this book is all about. Oh, and one last thing about Danny Gregory, the author of The Creative License. He actually has his own YouTube channel, which you can watch after this video. I'm going to link his stuff in the show's description. But I highly encourage you to check out his channel. He's one of the best art teachers out there. I think his approach is really accessible and fun, just like this book. So I think you're going to enjoy it. And if you want to learn more art techniques, visual art in general, I think that's a really great resource that you should check out. I personally don't teach art like that, but I would 1000% recommend Danny Gregory's stuff. So check it out. And the last book on my list is The Art of Whimsical Lettering by Joanne Sharpe. And this is another really popular book that seems to be making its rounds on the internet, on in creative spaces, in artsy spaces that I read a long time ago. And one of the reasons why I wanted to recommend this book is because I think hand lettering is by far one of the most accessible art forms. So if you are somebody who is questioning themselves, who doesn't feel very creative, but wants to start exploring creative expression, hand lettering is the thing for you. Hand lettering is essentially the art of drawing letters. And I think all of us already have a really strong foundation for drawing letters because we know how to write. And what I like about Joanne Sharpe's approach is that she makes it fun, enjoyable, and playful. This is something that you can take into an art journal, collage. So it can be a foundation for you to take and apply into other projects, into other art forms. And the book is phenomenal. It's so inspiring. Just opening the book, looking at it. I think I love it because it's purple, but in all seriousness, the pages are filled with inspiration. And I think you're going to walk away wanting to create as soon as you are done reading the book, as soon as you're done looking at one page. Because that's the other thing. You can just look at one project, one page, and be inspired. This is a book that I read once in its entirety, and then I just go back to it once in a while when I just want to be inspired. But what I love about the most, again, about Joanne is that she makes it fun and doesn't take it super seriously. And it's all about expressing yourself, connecting with your intuition, and doing things in a way that brings you joy. And if you are somebody that doesn't totally let themselves have fun, this is going to be the book for you. As you can see, books are a powerful resource available to you to support you in your self discovery and healing journey. They can be a great alternative if you're not in a place to pay for coaching or for therapy. And the key is to be self motivated and actually read the material so that you can make the most out of it. So now I want to know, what book piqued your interest? What are you going to be reading next? Let me know in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening to Spotify, you can leave a comment there as well. And we have come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe and like if you're watching on YouTube. Also, sign up for my newsletter. I send out weekly emails where I let you know when a new episode drops. I share my latest offerings, resources, and any updates. It's the best way for us to stay connected. The link is in the show's description. Thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you on the next one. Until then, stay creative.